Have you ever had a day where just one wrong word, one little comment, feels like it could shatter everything? Well, that feeling actually has a name, and it might be holding you back way more than you think. Today, we're diving into the work of psychologist Amy Morin to figure out how to trade in that fragile glass heart for some real solid mental strength. Let's get into it.
So I want you to just think for a second. As I describe this kind of person, ask yourself, honestly, does any of this ring a bell? Maybe it's you, or maybe it's someone you care about.
You know the type. Someone who gets deeply wounded by a single, offhand remark. Someone who just shrinks in a new social situation. Or maybe it's that person who has these incredible, beautiful dreams for their future, but the moment things get a little tough, all those dreams just get left in the dust right at the starting line.
Well, this state of emotional fragility, this is what we call the glass heart. It's this mindset that, honestly, can trap you. It keeps you in a loop of feeling unfulfilled, and it actually makes you sabotage your own success. But here's the most important part. This is not who you are. It's a habit, a pattern, and it can absolutely be changed.
So here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to look at the external stuff that feeds this fragility. Then we'll turn inward and get real about our own internal battles. And of course, we're going to wrap it all up with a clear, practical solution to build that lasting mental strength.
All right, let's start by looking outward. We're going to focus on two huge habits that weaken us, trying to control every little thing and that constant draining need to please everyone else.
Let's just get one thing straight right away. Bad things happen. That's life. We can't build a force field around ourselves to avoid all misfortune. But the one thing we always have power over is our attitude. And believe me, that changes everything.
This slide just lays it out so perfectly. Imagine a serious car accident. The glass heart reaction is to get stuck in that why me spiral, right? Wasting all your energy on self-pity, which, by the way, just slows down your recovery. But the mentally strong reaction? It's a total shift in focus. You accept what happened, you can't change it, and you pour every single ounce of energy into what you can control, the healing process.
And oh man, this obsession with control, it just spills over into our relationships. Take this story about James, a divorced dad. His ex-wife started buying their daughter all these expensive gifts. James became totally consumed with trying to stop her, trying to control her actions. Instead of focusing on what he could control, being an amazing present father, he wasted all his energy on his ex. And the result? He ended up pushing his own daughter away.
Now, that other big external trap is people-pleasing. We get so wrapped up in what other people think that we basically just hand them the remote control to our own self-worth. And when your value is tied to someone else's approval, well, you've lost the game. That's why taking care of your own feelings isn't selfish, it's absolutely essential.
And this isn't about becoming selfish at all. Just think about that famous saying. It tells us to love your neighbor as you love yourself. The as is the key part. It implies that self-love, self-care, that's the foundation. You just can't pour from an empty cup. Okay, so we've talked about the external stuff. Now it's time to turn that focus inward. And in here, we face two really powerful struggles, that deep-seated fear of change and the absolute poison that is envy. So why is change so ridiculously hard? Well, our brains are literally wired to love what's familiar, our comfort zone. Even if it's a mess, even if it's making us unhappy, it feels safe. And the second we think about stepping outside of it, even for something way better, all our internal alarm bells just start screaming. And this, right here, illustrates the problem perfectly. We have this tendency to dramatically overestimate how risky and difficult a change is going to be. Our imagination just goes wild, cooking up all the worst-case scenarios, when the actual risk, the reality of it, is often so much smaller and totally manageable. So let's look at Dale. He was a teacher who dreamed of starting his own company. Now, his fear was telling him the only way to do it was to just quit his job, lose his income, and dive in head first, a huge, terrifying risk. But the mentally stronger way? He broke it down. He decided, you know what, I'll keep my teaching job for security, and I'll build my business on nights and weekends. He managed the risk, which quieted the fear, and he actually started moving forward.
All right, the other internal poison, envy. And boy, has social media put this one on steroids. It's that feeling you get when you're scrolling through someone's perfect vacation photos and suddenly your own life feels less than. It's working yourself to the bone for a luxury item you don't even really need, just to keep up. And, maybe most painfully, It's that little pang of jealousy you feel when a good friend tells you about their success.
And let's be crystal clear. Jealousy is a relationship killer. It makes real friendship impossible because you're secretly competing. When we waste all our time and energy chasing what other people have, we're robbing ourselves of the time to build what actually matters, real, meaningful connections with our friends and family. That, right there, is true wealth.
All right, we have spent some serious time understanding this problem from the outside and from the inside. Now for the most important part, the solution. Let's walk through a practical, step-by-step guide to forging real mental strength and leaving that glass heart behind for good.
Okay, first things first, we have to get this straight. Mental strength is not about pretending you don't have feelings. It's not about being a robot. It is the exact opposite. It's about acknowledging your emotions and then learning how to harness your own inner power to navigate pain and fear and fatigue without letting them control you. It is a skill, and just like any skill, you can train it.
And this training really breaks down into 3 core steps. First, you have to get honest with yourself. Face your behaviors and pinpoint the specific habits that are holding you back. From there, you work on actively transforming your emotions, turning something destructive like envy into fuel for your own unique journey. And finally, it's about making peace with your past. Not to live there, but to learn the lessons so you can finally move on.
So let's make step 2 super concrete. To fight off jealousy, you have to stop using somebody else's ruler to measure your own life. Seriously, take out a piece of paper and write down your definition of a successful life. What does that mean to you based on your goals, your talents, and your values? That becomes your new compass.
And for that final step about accepting the past, I want you to remember this powerful idea. Truly moving on doesn't mean you forget what happened. It means you've made peace with it. You've squeezed out all the lessons you needed, and now you are free to live completely in the present.
So I'll leave you with this one last question. After everything we've talked about today, the people-pleasing, the fear of change, that jealousy trap, what is the one glass heart habit that you are ready to say goodbye to, starting right now?